Hi guys, it's Cyndi, aka Disney Queen. Today we are going to talk budget, so stay tuned. Hi guys, it's Cyndi, aka Disney Queen. It's 2022. I decided to continue my series on budgeting for a Disney vacation, and it's weird because for the first time, probably in 4, maybe 5 years, I'm not really sure how many years it's been. I'm actually looking at planning a Disney vacation. I had said in a previous video that we had some friends who have really been trying to get us down to Orlando to visit. I still don't know that it will be this year, but I am possibly looking at going next year. And I'm excited, apprehensive. I'm all kinds of feelings about this. But I thought it would be neat to kind of do like a us versus them type of thing. Okay, so let me explain. Whew. Okay, there have been a lot of changes to Walt Disney World since the last time I went. Some of it, of course, has to do with what's going on in the world right now. But also a lot in our life has changed since the last time we went to Walt Disney World. So for the first time, I'm kind of freaking out about planning a trip to Walt Disney World because I know that it's going to look different no matter whether I stay on property or I stay off property. Okay, so I thought I would truly compare the cost of staying on property versus staying off property. We are definitely leaning towards staying off property, but out of curiosity, I thought I would look it up and just kind of see exactly what those numbers would look like. I just thought it would be interesting to see just how different prices are. So I had been hearing that staying on property, especially at a value resort, which is what my family usually does, that the costs had gone up. I recall paying $75 to $99 a night to stay at a value resort. Because we had not taken a Disney vacation in quite some time, that was like a priority of mine, was to stay on property. I don't know that this time around it is as much of a priority because, one, the last time we stayed, you didn't have to pay for parking. The last time you stayed, there wasn't all of these restrictions on being able to get in the park. Just a whole lot has changed. And I'm not really sure how different any of that's going to be when we do get to go. I don't know if it's going to be this year or if it's going to be next year. But I have the feeling that just like fast passes being free, that a lot of changes are going to be here to stay. So the benefits for my family staying on property are not quite the same that they used to be. So one of the changes is definitely that with my husband's health, that it would be in our best interest to stay off property because we could stay in a larger room. We would have more privacy, would not necessarily be a whole lot of people in and out who would be cleaning, because we're really looking at renting a home to stay in. So I thought I would do a comparison and just see what the prices are right now. So I went online and I looked at booking the first week in November because originally when we had planned to do another Disney stay, after our last Disney stay, we were going to go in November. And I'm still looking at November. I know that it could be crowded. It could not be crowded. It just depends. Right now, if you look at the parks, they're crowded all the time. There really isn't like a downtime. The only other time I would consider staying other than maybe early November is possibly late January, early February. But I'm looking at the parks right now, and even during this time, it's a lot of people. Now, You guys tell me, what do you consider a good time to stay? Not so much for the crowds. The crowds aren't really my main concern as much as temperatures. And I know that it can be hot in November, but we have gone in November and it's been pleasant in comparison to going in August or June or July. We've also gone in May and April, and just depending on how the weather is, sometimes that is a nice time to go to. We don't have small children, so that's not a consideration. I am looking at taking at least 2 additional adults with me, so I had to consider that when looking for places to stay. So I'm going to start with, I looked up the value resorts, and so you have music, sports, and movies. We've stayed at sports and we've stayed at music. I don't think we've ever stayed at the movies resorts, and they have been updated since the last time we stayed. I don't know if all of the sports resorts are updated yet, but I know they're working on it. So I looked at a Disney value resort, specifically the music resort, and I was given a quote of $143.50 per night. And out of curiosity, because we have stayed at the Pop Century Resort before, I looked at Pop Century Resort's prices, and now that they have the gondolas, I knew the price was going to go up. So it was $190.50 a night to stay at the Pop Century Resort. Now, remember these prices as we go down the line. $145.50 for the regular music, movies, or sports resort. $190.50 for the Pop Century Resort. And this is at the time that I'm filming this video. Out of curiosity, I went and looked at Disney Port Orleans Resort, the French Quarter section, and it was $286 per night. And Disney's Art of Animation was $476.50 per night. Now keep in mind that is like a family suite, and if I'm not mistaken, that is also near the gondolas. So you have a choice of gondolas or riding the bus, or if you have your own transportation, you can drive your own car. But just keep in mind, you now have to pay for parking when you stay at one of these resorts. I want to say it's $15 per night. So you have to keep that in mind when you're budgeting too. Then I looked at the Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, because that's a deluxe resort. But the only way that you can get around is by bus or using your own car. So $458 for the Animal Kingdom Lodge, $476 for a suite at the Disney's Art of Animation, and then Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. So my friend Jen is always talking about Coronado Springs Resort. It's one of those resorts that I really did not pay much attention to. That is $280 per night. Okay, so did you guys catch that? Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is not a moderate, at least I don't think it's considered. I thought it was a deluxe, but maybe I'm wrong. The Animal Kingdom Lodge is $458. Disney's Art of Animation is $476. Disney's Coronado Springs Resort is $280 per night. Now, it's still a standard room with, the same amenities as most moderate resorts, but I've seen videos and the rooms are a nice size. The beds are a nice size. So $280 versus paying $458. Yeah, okay. So if you would like a preferred value resort room, you would pay $171. And basically that just means you're a little closer to the front entrance of that particular resort. I've never found that something that our family needed. Now, because we probably are looking at staying in a handicap room now, because for my husband, a walk-in shower would be preferably to having a bath. I don't know how that would work as far as where you're going to be located. More than likely, we would have a car. And so as long as we could get near the building, it really doesn't matter where the building is. So that's something to take into consideration. So one of the new things now is that you have to keep in mind when you're booking for a Disney vacation is that there are park reservations. So you could go to Disney, but not necessarily would you be able to just walk in any park that you would like. Now, I don't know how long that's going to be around, if it's going to be temporary or if it's going to eventually be something that's a regular thing, because I know for Disney, it kind of helps them know how many people are going to be in their parks, so that they can kind of make accommodations for how many people need to be working that day. I have some thoughts on that, but I'm going to keep that to myself. But I looked in for the dates that I was looking at. Right now, there was park available reservations for those dates. Now, I would have to do a little additional research to see when exactly you can make those park reservations, because I know people who stay on property can make those reservations before those who stay off property. That would be the only issue I would have with staying off property at this point. But yeah, that's gonna kind of change how you do park planning. Okay, so I looked online at my favorite travel agent's website. I have used them for many years, and that's Dreams Unlimited. If I was going to be staying on property, for sure, I would be using my Dreams Unlimited travel agent. And I would even suggest that you use a travel agent if you're staying on property, even if you're staying off property, but definitely if you're staying on property. And the reason I say that is because it's so complicated right now that even those of us who are like planners could use a little help with planning a Disney vacation right now. So they actually also have rental. So you can, so this is the thing. So the next grouping that I looked into was renting a house, which is what we're kind of leaning towards. And I looked on their website and they do offer rentals, a house rental. But the dates that I put in, they were saying were unavailable. But out of curiosity, I still wanted to see what the cost was. So it was a 4-bedroom villa. 6 nights would be $119 a night. A 4-bedroom villa, $119 a night. And you would pay a deposit of $135.07, and your taxes would be $16.07. So, yeah. That's a big difference, guys. You're basically getting a villa for less per night than you would pay for a 2-bed value resort hotel room. Yeah. They also had a couple of extra perks, which included a free membership to Sam's Club. I already have a free membership to Sam's Club, so I don't know that that would do me any good. A free pack and play crib and high chair. We don't have any small children. 50 family-friendly DVDs in each villa at no extra cost. Close to all major attractions, shopping and many restaurants. Close to pool and recreation areas. TVs in each room. Room docking curtains in each bedroom for privacy. Fully equipped kitchen, and so much more. Now, if that was available, that would be definitely something I would be interested in staying at. And I would still be able to use a Dreams Unlimited travel agent to help me. But they weren't available. So I heard many people kind of suggest that if you were going to stay in a particular area where you could get a vacation rental, a lot of people recommended Windsor Hills Resort area. So I looked them up and I found 2 properties. I wasn't able to, I didn't go through what it actually would cost me, but they gave you kind of like a rough draft. So one of the homes was 5 bedrooms, 7 beds for $188 a night. Okay. And then the second property was $184 a night for 4 bedrooms. These are complete houses. Many of them have pools, a garage for you to put your car in, or some of the garages have been converted into like playrooms. They sleep 10 people. So your total would be $1,416 for, I think it was 6 nights. So, out of curiosity, I said, okay, I like that price. I don't know that we would need that big of a house, because more than likely it would just be my husband and myself and either our 2 daughters, or my daughter and my son-in-law, or my husband and myself and one of our daughters. So we wouldn't necessarily need a house that holds 10 people. So then I went back to an old standby for me, which is Buena Vista Suites, which is in the Orlando area. It's literally minutes away from the gate for Walt Disney World. We've stayed there before. I did a review of staying at this particular hotel, and I will post that down below. I checked in to see what it would cost to stay there for a week for 6 days. And this is like a suite, and it includes breakfast. So it has a 1 bed. It's got a 1 bedroom queen suite with 2 queen beds, but it also has a sleeper sofa. It has a microwave and a refrigerator, and it has a pool. Again, it has restaurants within the hotel, and it is a Disney. What is it called? It's like It's a Disney Good Neighbor hotel. So I looked it up. For 6 nights, the cost would be $712 for that week. So I could save a little bit by staying there versus renting a whole home. So if it was just going to be my husband and myself and our oldest daughter, I probably would stay there. And because it is a good neighbor hotel, I would be able to also get transportation to the parks if that was something we wanted. You also do not have to pay for parking at the time of this filming. That might change before I go on a trip. And free breakfast is included. And it's not like your usual like muffins and some juice, or it is like a full breakfast. Bacon, eggs, sausage, you name it. It's a part of it's a part of the stay. And it's very convenient to stay there because, like I said, it is literally minutes away from the gate. And it's also near one of our favorite shopping outlets to go to. So that is a comparison of staying on property versus staying off property. And I will say this, yeah, I'm kind of sad because I love staying on property, but the cost and then the convenience for my family, we're leaning more towards staying on property the more and more we talk about it. Whether we stayed in a suite hotel or we stayed in a villa or a house, it would just offer us more privacy. It would give us more room as far as setting up my husband's equipment so that he could have dialysis at night. We can choose a property that is still near enough to Walt Disney World that getting back and forth would not be an issue. Definitely the cost makes a big difference. And so when you're planning, I'm just saying, keep that in mind. So many things have changed. I don't say not stay on property, but just consider the cost of staying on property and whether or not that works for your family. For my family, we have to consider our budget. And if I want to take trips to Disney, which I still would like to take trips to Disney, I would still like to take trips to Disney. I have to keep in mind what that cost entails and how that will affect us being able to fully enjoy our trip. And at this point, staying in a small hotel room for 6 days, it doesn't hold the same appeal, not with so many of the perks of staying on property that my family, your idea of perks could be different from mine. We're not, so a swimming pool doesn't mean a big deal to us. I don't swim. My husband can no longer swim because of the type of dialysis that he has. We're not usually one to just, sit around the resort or sit out in the sun. So that's not a consideration for us. I like the theming, but I don't have small children anymore. And so the theming doesn't have the same appeal that it used to. Definitely the added cost of staying. I will have to pay to park at the parks, but I would also have to pay to park at the resorts now, even though that would mean then I wouldn't have to pay to park it. It's just also complicated, and I feel like it doesn't need to be. So looking at actual numbers really has put things into perspective for me. I love staying on property. I love being in the bubble. Most of the time we didn't always stay in the bubble. So the older my kids get, the older my husband and I get, I'm looking at more convenience. I'm looking at the ability to possibly cook our own meals, to not, to save some money as far as that is concerned. Definitely save some money on the cost of the hotel stay and what we do. We used to be in the park all day long for long periods of time. I don't see that happening anymore just because I'm not getting any younger. My husband's not getting any younger. It's not something that my kids just have to have. And so it'll be really interesting to see how different our stays will be now, with so many changes, not just at Disney, but in our life. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? And if you'd like to know when the next video will come out, all you have to do is hit that little notification bell below. So until I see you the next time, guys, have a blessed day. Bye.